Welcome to this edition of McAllen Update. I'm Roy Cantu.
And I'm Roxanne, Lerma. Today we find ourselves at the beautiful McAllen Convention Center. And Roy, this is kind of the place that can accommodate any big event in the Rio Grande Valley.
Right now we're here at this event and there's thousands of people who are using the exhibit hall, Roxanne.
Yep, and you see this a lot here at the McAllen Convention Center.
Located in the heart of the Rio Grande Valley, the McAllen Convention Center is the preferred venue in our area for gatherings. The building has plenty of flexibility and can accommodate virtually any event, from small intimate meetings to trade shows, weddings, sporting events, and of course large conventions. There's over 170,000 square feet of meeting space, and the center is a great spot for concerts too. There's a huge exhibit hall and over 25,000 square feet of meeting space in 4 ballrooms and 16 breakout stations. For more information about booking an event at the spacious convention center, simply visit McAllenConventionCenter.net. In other news around McAllen, the McAllen Police Department released their crime report for 2013. Roxanne Lerma has more with the story.
Thanks, Roy. Today we're out at the McAllen Police Department, and they've actually released their annual crime report. To tell us a little bit more about that, we're joined by Chief Victor Rodriguez. Chief, thank you for joining us.
Good. How are you? We've and for the benefit of all our TV audience, we've posted this report on the City of McAllen's website. So anybody that wants to see it, they can go right to it. Our crime report for 2013 will show that we've had a decrease from a volume standpoint. And volume it's important to understand that these stats are reported 2 ways. One is volume and the other one is rate.
So if you don't know the difference, what's the difference?
The volume comparison is a numbers to numbers comparison. In other words, in 2013 we had 5,595 offenses versus 2012, 5,631 offenses. So we had a decrease, and therefore a volume decrease of 0.6, which is a half a percentage point more or less. Now from a crime rate standpoint, the same information but presented in a crime rate information. This is the way typically we look at crime data across the country.
Okay, so how would that same number compare?
From a crime rate standpoint, and the difference between crime rate and crime volume is that crime rate allows the community to factor in its population growth or decreases sometimes, okay? McAllen is in a growth mode right now. We grow at about a 2.2% annual rate basis. So given the growth rate we know, the crime rate then last year ended up being a negative 2.8%. So we had a negative crime rate report for the City of McAllen for 2013. Notwithstanding the fact that some categories had increases, others don't.
But that's an overall number.
An overall number, right.
Okay, so one of the big things that we heard in your press conference where we're talking about the crime report is how important our community is.
Absolutely.
So tell us about that.
You know, the most important variable here in any city is always the members of its community. The members of their community, when they take the steps to protect themselves, when they take the steps to protect their property, when they take the steps to become part of the criminal justice system by either becoming witnesses or active participants in reporting things that they see. That is the most important part of any of this stuff. This right here is a result of that largely. Certainly we are in the response mode, police departments are, and public service and everybody else as well. The media was here, they're part of that community as well, because, you know, every time that we go to the media, every time that we go to the press and say, you know what, here's a picture, here's a video, here's this stuff, we're actually telling them, you know, we need help. And through them, very oftentimes, we succeed in clearing cases. So all of these members of the community, us included, press included, and the number one factor are our citizens and certainly our employees of the McAllen Police Department, all our police officers, our dispatchers, and everybody that works here. All of these come together to have a result like this.
Okay. One of the things that also stood out for me is that actually 5 years running, we've seen, you know, even if it's a small decrease, it's been going down.
For 5 years now, we have had crime decreases in McAllen. This is the smallest decrease in that 5-year cycle. We thought for sure this year we would see an increase, and a lot of the things that we work with are things like the situation in Mexico, the politics in Mexico, the election in Mexico. We thought in 2013 we would see a sharper increase. We didn't see that, but certainly we're on guard for 2014.
Okay, excellent. Chief, thank you for all the valuable information. To our community members, we ask you to be the eyes and ears of our police department. Roy, now back to you.
Thanks, Roxanne. The City of McAllen hosted the annual State of the City address here at the Convention Center on Thursday, January 30th. Mayor Jim Darling and the McAllen City Commissioners addressed the accomplishments of 2013, like the McAllen 311 Center, the Leon Soccer Complex, and McAllen Memorial Stadium, among other accomplishments. The mayor also set some goals for the city in 2014 for economic development, infrastructure, quality of life, and education.
McAllen should be an engaged city. Our citizens and institutions are fully engaged as a community and a region. Many volunteering, voting, and leading, working together in a spirit of honesty and cooperation.
Mayor Darling is working on regionalization projects like the medical school and UTRGV, just to name a few. And now let's send it over to Roy Cantu at the McAllen Public Library to tell us a lot more about some upcoming events.
We're here at the McAllen Public Library in the children's section, trying to check out some books. Here's one, Tiny Tortilla for your kids. So bring out your entire family to come get some books here. And with me right now is Sarah Montoya, who's with the McAllen Public Library. Sarah, tell us what goes on over here.
So much goes on. We have several programs going on daily, from adults, children's, teens. We've got stuff going on all the time. So people should definitely check out our website, Facebook, and Twitter for constant updates on what they could do here.
And if they don't like you or follow you, they really should, because that's how you share some of the information of events that are going on for the whole family.
Definitely, yes. We have daily updates. We have contests on there. We have event updates. We have just several things that we do on there. So people should definitely check it out.
And there's some city events you do on a regular basis. For example, the farmers market. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, the farmers market goes on every Saturday from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. and it's local community coming together to provide organic food, fruits, meats, eggs, honey, soaps, handmade soaps even, for the public. You know, McAllen was named one of the cities with the highest obesity rate in the United States, and the library sees a need to get organic, healthy food to the community, so this is one way to do that.
Also, you've had some speakers come in. You had a state official come in and give a presentation in one of your rooms.
Susan Combs came by the McAllen Public Library here in the Children's Department to talk about her statewide child obesity campaign. She donated books to us, and she gave a story time to the kids who were in the department.
And also to encourage people to watch what they eat. You also are involved with Levy Salinas, who brings down Foodjucation in your auditorium.
That's right. Right after the Saturday Farmers Market, on the third Saturday every month, Levy brings down a movie or a speaker talking about good eating habits, fitness habits for the community. And it's a really popular program, and we encourage people to come out.
And let me tell you, to stay healthy, it takes the whole family. So bring your whole family here to the library every Saturday for the farmers market, and every third Saturday of the month, you can watch a really cool movie that's free to the public, and it will be in the auditorium. I'm Roy Cantu and Sarah Montoya from the McAllen Public Library. Back to you, Roxanne.
Thanks, Roy. The 43rd Annual McAllen Mayor's Prayer Luncheon is coming up pretty soon here. The McAllen Mayor's Prayer Committee is hosting the luncheon on Wednesday, February 26, 2014, right here at the McAllen Convention Center from 11:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. This year's keynote speaker is Bob Goff, New York Times best-selling author of Love Does. Goff is also an attorney who founded Restore International, a nonprofit human rights organization operating in Uganda and India. You're invited to join our mayors, city leaders, and committee at this luncheon for the price of $20 per person.
The committee is also looking for corporate and individual sponsorships. Tickets are available at the McAllen City Hall Grant Administration Office, the McAllen Chamber of Commerce, and Viva Life Christian Bookshop. The McAllen Fire Department recently held the International Fire Training Conference with dozens of firefighters from different countries, from Panama to Venezuela. Here's Roxanne Lerma with more.
Thanks so much, Roy. Now today we are out at the Central Fire Station, joined by Captain Gerald Williamson of the McAllen Fire Department. Captain, thank you for being with us.
It's my pleasure, ma'am.
So we're actually hosting the second annual Firefighter International Training Conference. So tell me a little bit about that. What exactly is that?
That's correct. What we have is an international conference. Spanish-speaking firefighters from 7 different countries have convened in the city of McAllen to take part in a few training classes that we're offering. Now, the city of McAllen is hosting the conference, but we're offering some classes in conjunction with our neighboring fire departments, Edinburgh, FAR, Mission, of course, McAllen's here as well. And we're providing a training opportunity that these international firefighters may not get in their respective countries.
So we have a classroom setting, and then we also have the actual hands-on, which we're kind of seeing here behind us. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, this morning, the action that you saw here was displayed in a classroom setting, so all of the firefighters got to learn the techniques that they are now applying in person. And the importance of that is they need to learn the skills necessary to disentangle a person that may have become entrapped in a vehicle in this specific example. We also have another class going on at our drill field up on the north side of McAllen, which specifically deals with firefighter safety and survival. And they kind of did the same thing. They did a lecture in the morning, and then they're doing practical skills and actually getting involved in a scenario in the afternoon, and then the training will continue on tomorrow. At the convention center, we have a 16-hour incident safety officer class, which is strictly lecture. It's very important. One of the backbones of the fire service is safety. Make sure that our people are safe so that we can provide a service to the community. So that class is going on at the convention center. All of them are happening concurrently, and we're having a very good time here.
It looks like you're having a good time. So what has been the reaction from our international firefighters? Because, I mean, as we know, some of the training that they're getting here from our McAllen firefighters, maybe they don't have access to that back in their country.
Well, the reaction that we're getting from our students has been tremendous. The international firefighters like coming to McAllen and to this area, to the area of the valley, because of the bilingual nature of the people here. They can communicate with the firefighters and learn skills from us. But even on their off time, after 5 o'clock, when they go home, when the training is done, they can go to a restaurant and order food, or shop or speak to people.
We know what they're saying.
Exactly, in their normal language. So it's very comfortable for them to come here, train, and they kind of have a home-like atmosphere, something that they're familiar with.
I was actually speaking to a couple of the international firefighters, and that's one of the things that they did mention, is that they go to trainings other places around the country and perhaps around the world, and maybe they don't actually have Spanish-speaking instructors like we have here in the city of McAllen. So did you get that response as well?
That is the same response that I've gotten. Of course, I'm speaking to them in English and the Spanish that I know, but we are very welcoming of them, and we love to have them here so that we can train with them. We have a tremendous brotherhood with our neighboring departments, and now we've extended that to an international setting to have firefighters from other countries come in, convene here in the valley, and share what we do, which is firefighting and a service to the community.
So are we thinking that we're going to continue to do these training conferences in the coming years?
I look forward to it. I know that the firefighters are looking forward to it. So it would be a fair assessment that we'll have this program continuing on into the future.
All right, Captain, we're crossing our fingers. Hopefully we'll have our International Firefighter Training Conference here in McAllen again next year. Thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure.
And now back to you, Roy Cantu.
Thanks, Roxanne. An Austin-based congressman made a visit to McAllen in mid-January. U.S. Representative Roger Williams serves a district that includes much of Austin and the Hill Country. Congressman Williams made a stop at the McAllen Chamber of Commerce, where he took some time to talk to our city leaders about the importance of trade with Mexico. He also emphasized staying competitive with other states. Congressman Williams says, much like his hometown of Austin, our city of McAllen is being recognized as a beacon of job growth.
Well, I think in Texas, we're all blessed that we live in Texas, and we've got a great economic story to tell in Texas. It starts with no personal income tax, which we know a lot of people are flooding to Texas because they want to do that, and regulations are less, and the ability to build and hire people. We've got a great workforce. We got to maintain that. We got to make sure we're competitive with other states, because it's getting very competitive with other states. But we got to maintain the fact that you can come to Texas, you can realize the American dream, you can make 100, invest 100, or lose 100, whatever it takes, but be able to realize, make money, and be able to plow that profits back into your business and so forth. And that's what we do in Texas. That's the Texas story. That's the story down here with the growth that you have and the people. I just went by a building where you all have brought a Michigan plant in, and it's under construction right now that could add up to 400 or 500 jobs. I mean, that's unbelievable, and that's fantastic. But it's because of the ability for a workforce, the values you've got down here, the Texas values, the economic opportunity we give people. We got to stay competitive.
We have some important news coming out of our tax office.
That's right, Roy, and it's actually about those important tax deadlines. As of January 31st, the deadline was up to pay for your city property taxes. At the stroke of midnight, February 1st, you automatically start accruing the penalty and interest. Of course, our property taxes pay for road improvements, emergency response services, libraries, parks, and such. But state law does provide for a variety of exemptions from property taxes for property owners that qualify for an exemption.
We have our elderly that can qualify for over 65 exemptions. They also can qualify for their freeze. And in this case, their taxes just stay the same once their taxes freeze, unless they make an addition to their property, an improvement to their property, then their taxes might change. But if that happens, then they can come here with us and we can find out why the tax has changed. We also have the freeze for our disabled veterans, any veterans that have disabilities of 100%. There's also a disability or an exemption for our disabled citizens that are disabled due to an illness.
And an important note for you folks, the City of McAllen Tax Office is now back at their old headquarters. After a brief stint at the old McAllen Police Department, they're once again housed at the new Development Services Center, and that is located at 311 North 15th Street.
The McAllen Police Department made national headlines after they arrested 2 people in connection with a credit card scheme.
That's right, Roy, and in fact, those suspects were loosely connected to the Target security breach. Now considered the largest credit card data theft in the nation's history. McAllen Police Chief Victor Rodriguez hosted a press conference to announce the arrest of the couple allegedly involved in the scam. Mary Carmen Garcia Vaquera and Daniel Guardiola Dominguez of Monterrey were arrested January 19th at Anzaldua's Bridge when they tried to cross into the United States. Officials say these suspects were carrying over 100 fraudulent credit cards strapped to their bodies when they were taken into custody. McAllen police say the pair didn't participate in the actual hacking of Target customer information, but rather that they were able to get a hold of the victim's bank information, and then they cloned cards with the compromised data. All of the victims involved in this scam were from South Texas. Police were tipped off when local banks began reporting purchases in the tens of thousands of dollars with the bogus cloned cards.
So the first thing we did was resorted to our local Secret Service office to attempt to identify the accounts and the source of the accounts and all that. So once we established from them that these accounts were part of the data breach, then we knew this was not isolated, that there could be more coming. So once we knew that, and once we knew where the transactions happened, we fanned out and went to the businesses, and we looked at miles of video, if you will, and we were able to identify a set of persons and a particular vehicle that we thought we may be involved in this situation. So once we did that, then we worked. We knew it was a Mexican vehicle, so then we worked with ICE to try to see, by virtue of their databases, see when they could tell us if the vehicle had crossed, when it crossed, and who was in the vehicle, and by that. Now we identified the people in the vehicle. We went back to the video of the same people. We secured warrants for them.
Chief Rodriguez is still urging residents to monitor their bank accounts daily and to use cash when possible. He's also encouraging local merchants to report any suspicious activity. In other news, Secretary of Homeland Security Jay Johnson toured the Anzaldua's International Bridge to receive briefings on the department's effort to secure the border. He wanted to hear how agents are facilitating lawful travel and trade. Secretary Johnson also met with state and local law enforcement officials and other stakeholders.
It has been impressed upon me a number of times that Homeland Security is not simply border security, port security. It is also facilitating and expediting trade and commerce, particularly in an area like this where the opportunities for growth, more jobs, are very, very important.
Mayor Jim Darling and other local mayors met with the Secretary after his bridge tour to discuss issues important to the border. That concludes this edition of McAllen Update. If you would like to learn more about the McAllen Convention Center, visit their website or visit McAllen.net.
That's right, Roy. For any big events, maybe a quinceañera, a wedding, this is definitely the place that you want to be. For the City of McAllen, I'm Roxanne Lerma.
And I'm Roy Cantu.